Alright, let's be honest here. We all know that one rider, the one that makes you cringe every time you see them, the one that gives all of us a bad name. Today, I'm calling out the 5 types of motorcycle riders that everyone else on the road absolutely hates. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You might be one of them. I'm not trying to be mean here, but someone needs to say it. These riders are ruining it for the rest of us. They're the reason car drivers roll their eyes when they see motorcycles. They're why insurance rates are through the roof. They're why we can't have nice things. And before you get all defensive in the comments, I want you to watch this whole video, because I guarantee you're going to recognize at least one of these types. Maybe you'll see yourself. Maybe you'll see your riding buddy. Either way, it's time we talked about this. So, which type are you? The weekend warrior who bought image over ability? The sport bike squid who thinks physics don't apply to them? Or maybe the Harley pirate who confuses loud with cool? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which rider everyone wishes would just stay home. Hit subscribe if you want more brutal honesty about motorcycle culture, because somebody needs to keep it real. Let's start with number 5. The weekend warrior. You know this guy. He shows up to bike nights on his pristine $40,000 touring bike that has 300 miles on it after 2 years of ownership. Everything is perfect. The chrome is spotless. The leather is unmarked. The bike looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor, because it basically did. This rider spent more money on accessories than most people spend on their entire bike. He's got every gadget, every upgrade, every piece of chrome that the dealership could sell him. But here's the problem. He doesn't actually ride. He talks about riding. He watches YouTube videos about riding. He knows every specification of every bike ever made. But when it comes to actually getting out there and putting miles on his machine, he's got excuses. It's too hot. It's too cold. It might rain. The bike's too dirty. He doesn't want to get bugs on the windshield. Meanwhile, he's giving advice to actual riders about routes he's never taken on a bike. He's never really ridden. The weekend warrior bought the image of being a biker without accepting the reality of actually biking. And that annoys everyone who's out there putting real miles on real roads. Look, if you want a garage ornament, buy a statue. If you want a motorcycle, ride the damn thing. Number 4 is the sport bike squid. This is the guy on the crotch rocket wearing shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top, because apparently protective gear is for losers. The squid bought the fastest bike he could afford, watched a few YouTube videos, and now thinks he's ready for the Isle of Man TT. Physics, traffic laws, and basic survival instincts are just suggestions. You've seen this rider doing wheelies in traffic, lane splitting at 90 miles an hour, passing cars on the shoulder, treating public roads like his personal racetrack. And when you try to talk to him about safety, he hits you with classics like, "I'd rather die than ride slow," or "Gear is for people who can't ride." Here's the thing about squids. They don't last long. Either they crash spectacularly and learn their lesson, or they crash spectacularly and become statistics. There's not much middle ground. But while they're active, they make life miserable for everyone else. Car drivers see their stunts and assume all motorcyclists are reckless idiots. Insurance companies use their accident rates to justify higher premiums for all of us. The sport bike squid thinks he's living life to the fullest. Really, he's just making life harder for everyone else who wants to enjoy motorcycles responsibly. Number 3, the Harley pirate. This is the guy who bought the loudest exhaust system he could find and thinks volume equals personality. The Harley pirate rolled up to his first bike night wearing brand new leather everything, a do-rag he bought on Amazon, and an attitude that suggests he just rode in from Sturgis instead of the suburb where he actually lives. His bike is loud enough to wake the dead, and he makes sure everyone knows it, revving at every stoplight, blipping the throttle in parking lots, making as much noise as possible because he thinks that's what makes him look cool. But here's what the Harley pirate doesn't understand. Loud pipes don't save lives. They just annoy neighbors. Real riders judge you by how you handle your bike, not how much noise it makes. The guy on the quiet Honda who can take corners like it's on rails, he gets respect. The guy on the straight pipe Harley who can't make a U-turn without putting his foot down, not so much. The Harley pirate thinks he's living the outlaw lifestyle. Really, he's just cosplaying as a rebel while riding a bike that's more expensive than most people's cars. And the worst part, he's usually the first one to lecture other riders about real motorcycles, while his bike spends more time in the shop than on the road. Number 2 is the gear police. This rider can't see another motorcyclist without conducting a full safety inspection from 50 feet away. The gear police wears every piece of protective equipment ever invented. High-vis everything. Armor in places you didn't know needed armor. They look like they're about to defuse a bomb, not ride to Starbucks, and that's fine. Ride your own ride. Wear what makes you comfortable. But the gear police can't stop there. They have to comment on everyone else's choices. No helmet? Lecture incoming. Short sleeves? Get ready for a dissertation on road rash. Sneakers instead of boots? Time for a horror story about broken ankles. Look, safety is important, but being the self-appointed guardian of everyone else's risk tolerance is annoying as hell. The gear police act like they're saving lives with their unsolicited advice. Really, they're just making everyone else avoid them at bike gathering. Here's a radical idea. Worry about your own gear. Let other adults make their own decision. And maybe understand that not everyone wants to look like a Power Ranger just to ride to the grocery store. Now, before we get to number 1, let me tell you why these types are really a problem. It's not just that they're annoying. It's that they're hurting the motorcycle community as a whole. Every time a squid crashes, doing something stupid, it makes the news. Every time a Harley pirate wakes up a neighborhood at 2 a.m., it creates another person who hates motorcycles. Every time a weekend warrior gives bad advice, it could get someone hurt. These riders think they're representing motorcycle culture, but they're actually damaging it. Real motorcycle culture is about freedom, responsibility, and respect. Respect for your machine, respect for other riders, and respect for everyone else sharing the road. The riders I'm calling out today, they missed that memo. They're more concerned with image than substance, more focused on looking like a biker than actually being one. And that brings us to the worst type of all. Number 1, the know-it-all. This is the rider who has an opinion about everything and the credentials to back up nothing. The know-it-all has owned one motorcycle for 6 months, and suddenly he's an expert on every aspect of motorcycling. He'll tell you why your bike choice is wrong, why your riding technique needs improvement, and why the route you're planning won't work. He's read every forum, watched every YouTube video, and memorized every specification. But actual riding experience? Not so much. The know-it-all loves to corner new riders and overwhelm them with information they don't need. He'll spend 20 minutes explaining why they need to upgrade their suspension before they've even learned to shift smoothly. But here's what makes the know-it-all truly insufferable. He's usually wrong. That confident explanation about engine dynamics? Complete nonsense. That route recommendation? He's never actually ridden it. That gear advice? Based on something he read online, not real-world experience. The know-it-all thinks he's being helpful. Really, he's confusing new riders and annoying experienced ones. And when you try to correct him with actual facts or experience, he doubles down. Because admitting he doesn't know something would shatter his entire identity. So here's the uncomfortable question. Which one are you? Be honest. Really honest. Have you ever given riding advice about routes you've never taken? That's know-it-all behavior. Have you ever lectured someone about their gear choices? You might be gear police. Do you rev your bike unnecessarily in parking lots? Harley pirate tendencies. Have you ever done something stupid on your sport bike because it looked cool? Squid behavior. Is your bike more garage ornament than transportation? Weekend warrior alert. The truth is, most of us have been at least one of these types at some point. I know I have. When I first got my Harley, I definitely went through a Harley pirate phase. Loud pipes, tough guy attitude, the whole thing. When I got my sport bike, I had some squid moments. Nothing too crazy, but definitely some decisions I look back on and cringe. The difference is recognizing it and changing it. Here's how to stop being the rider everyone hates. If you're a weekend warrior, ride your damn bike. Put miles on it. Get it dirty. Stop treating it like a museum piece. If you're a sport bike squid, invest in gear and training. Track days exist for a reason. Public roads are not your racetrack. If you're a Harley pirate, understand that volume doesn't equal respect. Learn to ride your bike well instead of just making it loud. If you're gear police, mind your own business. Give advice when asked, not when you feel like lecturing. If you're a know-it-all, shut up and listen. You might actually learn something. The best riders I know are humble. They understand that motorcycling is a lifelong learning process. They ride their own ride and let others do the same. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They're not performing for an audience. They're just out there enjoying the pure experience of riding. That's what real motorcycle culture looks like. So here's my final thought on this. The riders I described today, they're not evil people. They're just confused about what motorcycling is really about. Motorcycling isn't about image. It's not about looking tough or cool or rebellious. It's not about having the loudest bike or the most expensive gear, or the most impressive stunts. It's about freedom. It's about the simple joy of riding. It's about being part of a community that understands what it means to love motorcycles. But that community only works when we respect each other and respect the privilege of riding. Every time we act like jerks on our bikes, we make it harder for everyone else. We give politicians reasons to restrict us. We give insurance companies reasons to charge us more. We give car drivers reasons to hate us. Is that really worth it just to look cool for a few seconds? Now I want to hear from you. Which of these types annoys you the most? Have you ever been one of these types yourself? What changed your mind? And be honest, which one did you recognize in yourself? Drop your confessions in the comments. Let's help each other become better riders and better representatives of motorcycle culture. Hit like if this made you think about your own riding behavior. Subscribe for more uncomfortable truths about motorcycling. And remember, the best rider is the one who's still learning. Ride safe, ride smart, and don't be the rider everyone else wishes would stay home.